Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another casual stream with your boy, Base the Kid. As always, please like and subscribe, share with a friend, colleague, relative, associate, enemy, any and all in between. It is appreciated. Yeah, look, real big apologies for yesterday. Like, I was going through it. Constant sneezing, like my nose was literally a shower. It was problematic. I doubt I was going to be able to make it through the live. I think some of you may have seen me in similar situations before on some of my old videos, and trust me, when that's happening and I've got to do the most just to like try and get a takeout before I have to pause it and go again, or bear editing and cuts or whatnot, it's problematic. However, I dosed up on a whole load of cold and flu capsules, Lemsips, all sorts over the last 24 hours, and I seem to be okay. I think I sneezed once earlier on today, so yeah. And the thing is, the sneezing isn't really the bad part. It's the nose for me. Like, most people get blocked noses, right? I wish I got blocked nose. I get the runny nose, like, and it's just a problem. Literally, even you feel like a tramp even talking to people, and your nose is just there dripping in front of you. You got to try all kinds of things to stop it from running. It's mad, but yeah. Um, Shout out to everyone who is locked in. Make sure you have hit that like button if you are new. Subscribe if also you're new, and if you are an old head, salute to you. I know that uh, Philip and Philip's probably in the chat somewhere cussing. I know that he wasn't happy that this got delayed from yesterday, so apologies to you. But yeah, we've got some stuff to talk about, and I need you guys to help me out here, right? This weekend, there's about 6 different cards. Junto Nakatani is on first thing Thursday morning, sort of early afternoon. So is Jairo Patayo. Obviously, you've got Justice Huni and Fabio Wardley Saturday. We've got Callum Simpson and Ivan Zuko on Saturday. Saturday, there's also an Most Valuable Prospects card with Beatrice Ferreira headlining. Um, Friday, you've got Josh Kelly. I'm not saying anyone particularly cares about him, but I'm saying that's a card that's out there as well. Saturday is also Keyshawn Davis and Edwin De Los Santos. Abdullah Mason's on the card. There is so much to go through. So I want to ask a question of you guys, whoever's watching. Please just put in the chat. Let me know. Do I do an extra long basis picks video to come out on Friday? And when I say extra long, we're talking probably about 40 minutes, because that's how many fights there are. Or do I do a basis picks video with just the main events? So Fabio Wardley, sorry, Justice Huni, Jairo Patayo, Claudio Squayo, Edwin De Los Santos and Keyshawn Davis, Callum Simpson, Ivan Zuko, Josh Kelly, and Badia, or whatever the guy's name, Beatrice Ferreira, and Junto Nakatani as well. So I just do those, but then I do another live stream tomorrow, a basis picks live for basically all the undercard stuff, and we go for like an hour and 10, hour and 15 minutes, where we just go through all the different undercards of the different fights, and I give my picks and predictions. Let me know what you guys think. Yeah, and then I will make my decision, I guess, based on the consensus of the people. Shout out to man like James in the building. Salute to you. And James has said, just do the main events. Okay. So do I do the main events with the live alongside it, or just the main events in total? Let me know. Appreciate you for being in. Oh, shout out to MR Basis picks with the main events. The undercards aren't good. I don't know if I can agree with that for the top rank undercard, Emma. Like that undercard's quite nice. I mean, I can understand obviously the UK ones, fair enough. Although Pierce O'Leary, Liam Dillon, I don't think that's a bad one. I think that's an alright. You've got there's actually a couple of decent fights on the Jaya Pattaya undercard. To be fair, although I know a lot of people won't really know all those people, but I know Connor Wallace is on there, Max McIntyre, a few people. But yeah, I hear you. Shout out to Emma always. James, this flu cold just hit me too. Oh god, it's the worst. I pray you recover quickly, James. Man, it takes you out of commission. Uh, do them all, base. They're all interesting fights. I anticipate them. All right, shout out to you, Michael. Is this the last fight for Boxer on Sky? Where is Ben? Well, this is the last. This is the last fight card that they've got announced. I think the deal with Sky is supposed to finish in August, July or August, but they said that they said there was news imminent of a new card taking place. So I guess we gotta wait and see. Not a new card, sorry, of a new deal. But I've heard that Sky basically just want to be able to pick and choose the events that they want rather than actually giving money for a schedule. TNT Sports, I mean, they need some content. I don't know if they're still looking for work, but it'll be interesting. I'm sure someone's gonna have to speak to Ben and ask him. I would do it, but this weekend I'm a bit indisposed. Um, by the way, before I even forget, everyone look out for content from Danny Glover, Fight Fan TV. He will be live in Ipswich at Portman Road for the Wardley Hooney fight. I got accredited, but I can't. Well, it's not that I can't go. I have other commitments. There's a bunch of watch-alongs that I'll be doing, and I couldn't really do those watch-alongs if I was in Ipswich. If it was in London, I probably could have still gone and got back to do a couple of those. But um, so I gave Fight Fan my accreditation to go, so he'll go do some work there. So shout out to him. Obviously, make sure you guys join into the channel. We will be doing a watch along for Wardley and Hooney. We probably won't be doing the entire card. We'll probably start from maybe the third fight down, and then we'll go up to the main event. I'll keep an eye on Callum Simpson as well. Then I will be also doing a watch along for Money in the Bank WWE for those of you interested in that, because that's one of the big five. Is one of my favorite events each year. I will also be keeping an eye on the Worlds Collide event that takes place before that, so that's about 8 o'clock. So that will be obviously going on at the same time as the watch along for Fabio Wardley and Justice Hooney. But while watching Money in the Bank, I will also be keeping an eye on the top rank card. Actually, I may finish off that event and then go to doing a little quick watch along for Keyshawn Davis and then one. So yeah, there's going to be a bunch of watch alongs on Saturday. So we'll definitely have at least 2 lives guaranteed on Saturday, maybe even 3. There's probably going to be a watch along in the morning as well. Junto Nakatani and Jaya Patel. Again, if I can get the timings right, we're going to have both of those on as well. So you're going to get a lot of live content this weekend from me, especially as I just also came off. I was just with a dog trainer actually for my puppy, and luckily she was been amazing. So shout out to Ruth from Be at One Training. Anyone in the Southeast London area, go Google her. We've been working on a lot of commands and stuff, which has all been very very insightful. He is now absolutely laid out in his crate downstairs, which is good news. Gives me enough time to do this and not have to worry about barkings or whatever else. So yeah, let me get back to these comments, and then we're going to talk about some of the stuff that I definitely need to address. Uh, Shout out to Philip. I know you was vexed the other day, but he says main events and fights that interest you. But there's a lot of fights that interest me. I'm literally, we're talking about a 45-minute video, because you guys know sometimes I get into the breakdowns and this, they do this right and they don't do that right, and then you mix all of that in with the other. We could be, I mean, it could literally be like my biggest video, and I don't have the time to do individual like fight predictions, or just like break each video down into segments, um, which probably would have been the easier thing to do. And imagine, I'm going to tell you guys this right now, yeah, that Justice Hooney and Fabio Wardley fight is really causing me a problem to make my pick. I haven't even submitted my prediction league yet. 1 second, peeps. Um, I haven't even I haven't even sorted my predictions league, because I've done all the others predictions. That's the one fight I'm stuck on, because I see ways that both guys win. I see ways that both guys lose. I see the flaws in both guys, and obviously what I know what the strengths of both guys are. I mean, I'm not saying it's a 50-50, but it's not as cut and dry as a lot of people believe it to be. Um, but I will make my decision probably by the end of tonight, and lock in that pick, and then obviously do the video. So, but yeah, that's a difficult one. Shout out to man like North Bank Brennan in the building. Salute to you as always. Thank you so much for all the support that you show to these lives. Michael Eden, Jael Pattaya, and Justice Hooney, two anti antipodine fighters, boxers. So I don't know what that means. Antipodine. Let me know what that means, Michael. North Bank Brent, Azim being added to a card on weekend might suggest it's the last show on Sky. Yeah, because I know that that's a part of his deal, isn't it? His fights have to be aired on Sky, otherwise he can leave. I think that he's one of the guys that has that in his contract. Um, but imagine being added this late. You definitely know he ain't fighting anyone of any decent note. Don't TNT have UFC? I think they do. I know ESPN lost the UFC rights in America, but TNT have it. But I know that they still want some boxing content. Um, Heard the deal ends this week. Ben will lie regardless. Well, I'll see if I can get in touch with him. See if I can get a quote. Um, who are you raiding as an opportunity? Who suits Frank and who suits Eddie? Oh, in terms of if they okay, so I think Adam Azim suits Eddie. Ben Whitaker suits Eddie. Fraser Clark suits Frank. Lauren Price MVP. I don't think either one of them will pick her up. Karis Artinstall as well, probably MVP. Caroline Dubois will suit Eddie. I think he would. I think he'd bring Caroline Dubois into the fold. Although again, MVP might try and make a play for that. Um, Callum Simpson would suit Eddie, but I think Frank might get some better mileage out of him. Because I'm only thinking of Callum Simpson with like Diego Pacheco and them man over there, and he's obviously going to move up to light heavy at some point. So I'm trying to think who else is over there. Um, Vidal Riley. Eddie will take Vidal Riley. Um, is that it? I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's all the main ones that I can think of. There's probably others there, but um, off the top of my head. Uh, Shout out to man like Johnny Gaffer, watch you from Zanzibar. Jeez, that's what we like, man. International. Shout out to you. Um, Fair enough. Okay, Skyliner says, if I'm Frank, I'm going after Azim and Whitaker. Okay, I hear that. Salute. Um, Philip says, why don't you do a poll then and see? Okay. Yeah, I hear that. I might do. Azim, Price, Whitaker, and Dubois are worth the raid. Yep, definitely. Got it at 50-50. I don't trust Hooney's chin. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I think Hooney's chin is okay, but he's susceptible to a certain shot. And I don't want to say it because there might be people watching, but I've seen enough of his fights from when he started as a pro up till now. Even I saw that little infamous sparring footage. I know sparring, but if you know, you know. But there's a certain shot, and it's a bit like Dillian White with the uppercut. Whenever he gets caught with this shot, is when he gets hurt, and I've seen it so many times now. Um, and he doesn't defend it properly because he fights with his hands down. But Fabio does the same thing. It's a tough fight. It's a tough fight to score. Means from Australia or New Zealand. Oh, okay. Thank you for that. That's but one thing I will say, right? And I feel like, and I don't want to say this in the sense that I'm saying that people like obviously Brits and stuff ain't tough. Like I'm like tough, passionate, like strong-willed people. But there's one thing about people like from Australia, New Zealand, like all of that, those regions, they may not technically be like the best, most athletic or gifted or technically sound fighters, but in terms of toughness, a lot of them are extremely tough, and like they're gonna give you a hard night's work regardless. I mean, until Moses Atama dealt with him, Dempsey McKean was like he got hurt in pretty much every fight he was in, but he found a way to persevere. Um, around those places, Australia, New Zealand, like you got all them islands, you got like the Samoans, you got the Maoris, you got the Tongans. You've got all of these, these Pacific Islanders that are just, their whole their whole way of life is literally about combat, honor, family, and and toughness, and what it is to be a king or a warrior. So that's a hard people to like to try and go against, and that's one of the things which is making me say I know Fabio hits a lot harder than Justice, but I feel as if Justice might be able to take more punishment than Fabio over a longer period of time. I don't know what I based it on, but it just feels as if he maybe has better recovery instincts and survival instincts than maybe Fabio does. Because when Fabio gets hurt, I mean, obviously he comes out swinging, but that can also be an issue. So, I don't know. We're going to talk about all of that later. Out here on honeymoon, don't know how long the missus will let me stay on. Well, you know what? Thank you very much for being here, man. If you've hit that like you've done your job. I salute you and I appreciate you. Thank you very much, and I hope that honeymoon is going well. No issues, no hiccups, stress free, no problems with anything. Like enjoy. Thank you very much for tuning in. Though I appreciate it. Who needs the left hook? Oof. I mean, it's what. Well, put it this way. I'm not gonna say that you're right with that one, Northbank, but that is definitely a punch of concern of his, 100%. True. Let's see. If Lorena didn't smother himself, he would have dropped him at the very least. To be fair, he was really tired that round. Yeah, and that's one thing about Lorena, probably a little bit too muscle bound. he can never really keep up and sustain those attacks, which is a shame because he's had certain people rocking and rolling, and maybe that's the reason why he hasn't got more knockouts on his resume, because he probably got enough power to hurt people, but he just doesn't have the stamina to to sustain an attack. I wouldn't like to cross Jao Pataya for sure. Yeah. Think Fabio will gas first. It's a really good fight. Yeah, it's a really good. It's one of the hardest fights that I've ever like had to try and call, purely because like both guys, I guess, are unproven at the world level, unknown quantities as pros, if we're being real, and they've both got glaring deficiencies. It's just about whose deficiencies get exposed first, and who can, if anything, tighten up the other one. The one thing that I think, well, look, if you're looking at the attributes, yeah, let's look at the attributes. Justice Hooney's got he's faster, like foot wise, foot speed. He's got better technique, better punch combinations, and I reckon he's probably got a better gas tank overall, right? We know Fabio's got better grit, probably, better, I think, better fighter instincts and more power. But because Justice has been boxing for so long, he was boxing like when he was a younger guy. That's why when you see him in the ring and he's doing kind of the bouncing and then even that pivot step that he's able to do, that round the guard and round the target, that's because that's things that he was practicing when he was probably like a maybe a welterweight in size, because he was fighting since the age of 7. So from he's been little, that's the movement, that's what he's been practicing. Whereas someone like Fabio, because he started at the age of 20, like he can't move like that. His body mechanics and genetics ain't built to to sort of make those steps, to make those movements, to make those angles. So that's one thing I feel like is in Hooney's favor. Like he can move quicker than Fabio can in certain instances because he's been training that way. It's the same with Usyk. Usyk's been fighting the way he's been fighting since he was like 16, and he was weighing 150 pounds. So the lighter he was, that was just that was the movement. Whereas these other guys, if they started like 17, 18, they're probably already closer to their natural height, size at that point. So very, very interesting. Shout out to man like Fight Fan TV. Yeah, I told everyone to check out your channel and to check out your content coming up for the weekend. Like, use that accreditation wisely. Don't let me down. I want to see a lot of good stuff there from the press conference that's taking place on Thursday. Weigh in, whatever you can get to, man. I want to see it. Okay, so we're gonna come back to the fight shortly. But yeah, that fight's giving me a lot of interesting takes. But let's talk about this Devin Haney and Teofimo thing, where Devin has said, "Look, I've agreed to fight this guy at 145." He said that he wanted to fight Boots at 147, but he wanted to make concessions with me. Do we think that these concessions are an admission that, number one, he wasn't really willing to take those fights, or number two, that he doesn't fancy his chances, therefore he needs an edge? Because I remember when Tio was quote unquote calling out Terence Crawford, we all knew that fight was never going to happen, because you was calling him out to fight at 147, knowing that he was about to move to 154, or that he had moved to 154. And then he's like calling out Boots when Boots has said, if I'm at 147, it's only for unifications, or I'm going to be moving up as well. So I'm just wondering, is this Tio really wanting these fights, or is this Tio almost trying to clout chase a little, knowing that, well, he can get traction and attention off of these names? Because I feel like that's the same thing that Floyd Schofield did with Shakur Stevenson, calling out his name and thinking, oh well, these fights won't get made now, we can get some shine off it, and then maybe 2-3 years down the line we might get to it. And then obviously a man like Turkey said, oh well, you want him, okay, let's do it now. And then all of a sudden there's bare dramas left, right and center, and then some mysterious illness which only lasted for 24 hours, and then man was back in the gym doing mad works the Monday after the fight. So yeah, let me know. I think that Tio is just literally out here trying to garner attention, knowing that these fights ain't gonna happen. And then the one time there is a fight that there is the possibility to happen, now all of a sudden we're talking about, the dictator, and oh well, no, it's got to be 140. I want it at 140, even though you wanted to go to 147, and this guy's at 147. Now it's at 145, and you haven't signed the contract. Like, yeah, let me know what you guys is thinking. Fight fan says, yeah, even at my age and big size, I can still bounce on my toes. Larry Holmes was another great example. Exactly, because that's what man was doing from so young. It's just ingrained in you. It's that muscle memory. You might not be able to do it for as long as you was able to do it before, but yeah. Michael Eden, a guy called Henry is very good at predicting. Shout out to a guy called Henry. I've seen a couple of his videos. I watched a couple of his videos earlier on this week, actually. He's very good at some of the predictions and analysis he does. Although I will say he isn't a patch on what's his name? Oh crap! What's the guy's name? He disappeared. Oh, that's gonna annoy me now. His name was literally in my head a moment ago. Anyway, you guys know the guy from the UK, and he just vanished over like the last 6 months. James, I'm just tired of Tio. They should leave alone. Hear that? I think Tio just copies these other boxers to try and boost his profile. Everyone sees through him. He's a loser, 100%. Tio's a cherry picker. Yeah, Tio faking the funk. And Neo-Nazi Lopez is a duck. I hear you. Big up man like Dodge 172. Oh, that name is bothering me now. I can't believe it slipped out of my head. And I've done videos with him. The white guy, forgot his damn name. He's is he? I think he's Cypriot. No, I think he's Greek. Imagine trying to gain traction by being open with your racism. Yeah, I know, 100%. It's mad. And like some of us say, American boxing is garbage. Guys like Tio and Tank act like circus clowns. That's it. Phillips got it. Chris Andre. Yes, Chris Andre boxer. Shout. I can't believe, like, literally, it was in my head before I started talking, and then it just slipped out. Yes, Chris Andre. Thank you, Philip. Do you mean Porky Scott? No. Yeah, no. Chris Andre. Chris Andre was like his analysis and his predictions. Well, maybe not the prediction as such, but his analysis. Like, a guy called Henry ain't quite on that level, but he is good. And the way that he kind of broke down the Johnny Fisher and Dave Allen 2 fight, I got a rating for that. Even though he only picked Dave Allen because he wanted him to win, but the way he did the analysis was good. Skyliner. I think indirectly Lopez has created a niche for himself where he is the villain and therefore commands attention. Yeah, but the problem is he can only have the attention if people want to fight him. It doesn't seem that anyone apart, but the people that want to fight him, I don't think he's confident to face stylistically. So being the, I guess being that villain isn't helping with that. Shout out to man like Dan, SC15's hardest working guy. Yeah. Okay, um so Dan, if you are watching, um the choice is basically is for me to either do an extra long version of basis picks, or do a video with just like the main events, and but then also the third option is to do a video with the main events but then also do a live tomorrow giving all of my picks for like the undercard fights and how I see those fights going. So there's like three sets of content. Let me know what your thoughts are. And yes, as Emma just said here, it's not working or no one cares about Tito. 100%. I agree with that. Shout out to iLucan. Is Turkey paying Tiafimo more than Top Rank? Yep. But guess what? It's still not enough for him. Shout out. He said, "Well, guess you gotta stop calling my boy Jerron sandals and slip." No, he's still got some he's still got some allegations to beat, because here's the thing: Tio might be clout chasing, but he went radio silent. He didn't like take the fight, or he didn't say, "All right, cool, let's run it at 147." He started talking about, nah, maybe go to 154. But then when it was time to face Virgil at 154, now I want to stay down here. I want to unify. So it's like anytime someone is asking him to do something, he's got another suggestion. The only time he gets up live for me is the Brian Norman Jr. situation, for the time being. So he may not be barefoot Ennis at the minute, but he still might be socks and sandals. Like, I'm just saying. He's got some charges to he's got to beat first before I give him his boots name back. Okay, so let me try to think. What else was Oh, that's a point actually. I know that no one may particularly care about this card, but the most valuable prospects card that's on Saturday. I know Beatrice Rare was supposed to be facing another lady called what's her name, Andrea Ferreira, something like that. I think she's got a new opponent. I think that lady, I think she pulled out of the fight. Let me see. Yeah. Oh no, she's still there. Maria Ines Ferreira, that's it, Maria. Um, I mean, I know we're not particularly going to be watching that card as such, um, but I like it. Prospects card. I know Bree Howling's on the undercard, so want to see how she does in this fight. She's a firearm high, and if any of you watched the Femme Files, you would have seen that I did a little section on her previously. And says, yeah, he needs to fight Ortiz. To me, you probably knew Tio ain't serious, so no point entertaining. I hear it, but I mean, look, like I said, you've had a few instances here, because let's not forget the Terence Crawford stuff, when Crawford offered him the fight, and then they was talking about, oh, we're loyal to Showtime. I'm just saying, there's loads of allegations, and when they're like, oh, he's chasing Crawford, but he was fighting in IBF eliminators, and Crawford was a WBO champion. There's a lot of, I'm just saying, the allegations are hard to beat a lot of the time. And Lucas says, and if I was Turkey, I would tell Tiafimo to get lost and never take him back out of principle. It will serve as a lesson for others. And it's the same thing that Ring IQ said. Shout out to Ring IQ. He said Turkey was doing fine until he started dealing with the American boxers. As soon as he starts trying to talk to them, all of a sudden there's always issues, or things don't go according to plan. You don't get that same drama with the Brits, with the Eastern Europeans. The Russians, the Australians, anyone else who's put on the cards. it's just when the Americans came into play, all of a sudden now there's drama left, right, and center. Man, like Champ Ross in the building. Salute to you, my guy. Shout out. Um, just seen G Man saying Dubois to beat Usyk. Okay, but is he put out a predictions video or is he just giving initial thoughts? I haven't watched that one yet. Stanley Wright is another good fight too. That's on the undercard of the Josh Kelly card, right? The one that's on Channel 5 on Wasserman. Stacked weekend on all platforms for us. Yeah, but I can't lie. As a look, I'm not gonna call myself a content creator or anything, but just I guess as a guy with a channel that tries to cover this stuff, and as you guys can see, I fall behind quite often now because I've got things, I lock off a lot of things to even do this stuff, but I'm don't have the same amount of time that I used to have. I don't like these weekends when you've got like six or seven cards. Like there's 4 cards on Saturday alone. There's I think 1 on Friday, and then there's 2 on Sunday. Plus, I've then got to do this content. I've got to do the live streams, the Fight Talk live. But we're definitely going to have one of those this week. I'm going out Saturday evening, so we're probably going to have to restructure what time that happens. Then I've got to do these watch-alongs. Plus, there's 6 or 7 boxing events. There's also 2 WWE, NXT, AAA events taking place. Now, I know that's not for everyone here, but there's also the audience that watches that. There's too much stuff. I like the weekends where there's 1 fight card. Maybe there's 1 in the UK, 1 in the States, on that weekend, or maybe you get like the odd Friday card as well, so you get 3. 3 is my limit on the weekends. Anything more than that, it just becomes a bit too much, and then I've got to try and go back and watch. I don't have the time to watch everything. So the Crawford thing, Boots was guilty there, he can't get out of that one. Yeah, I hear you. Any idea who owns the Caribe Royale in Florida? They seem to be putting on an awful lot of the USA small shows last week. I don't know. Well, the Caribe Royale it's a hotel complex, so it's like a very small room within the complex. And as far as I know, it's in a popular location because it's where it's I think it's in Fort Lauderdale. No, or is it? No, it's Orlando, isn't it? Yeah, for some reason it seems to be a venue that works, and I guess because of the hotel you can kind of get a lot of through traffic and people just come and spend $30 to go in. I think that's probably the reason why. It must be fairly cheap, especially if a lot of the boxers or whoever are like staying in the hotel. You get it kind of part of a package, I would assume. But no, I don't know who owns it. Shout out Jules from Ring IQ Boxing Talks. Yep, 100%. Jules has probably helped me behind the scenes more than anyone else in the boxing space, and that's not to discredit anyone because I've had assistance and help from a lot of people. He's done a lot of things behind the scenes that no one will ever know, or he's allowed me certain accesses or allowed me to use certain materials that what his basically. So big ups to him each and every time. Good point. I didn't think about that with Turkey and the US fighters. Right. Yeah. Every time they seem to come into the mix, that's where the problems happen. I live in facts. I'm not offended by what he's been saying. It's the playground antics. F around and find out. No food for you. Yep. Hear that? 100% Dodge. Yep, that's right. No problem. Like I said, the Asian market as well. Japanese, like no fuss, no muss. He's got his own Japanese ambassador now. The new guy that just turned over pro on the first ring card. No issues there. Naoya Inoue, he's an ambassador. He hasn't obviously fought in Riyadh yet, but no fuss, no muss, no problems there. Stanley writes on Friday, DAZN. Okay, what's the DAZN Okay, what's the Friday night the zone card? Because that's not the Josh Kelly card, right? Isn't he Wasserman, or is that the same? Is that the same one? I'll check that. Definitely, I'll check the fight out because I've been given the I've been given obviously the. Oh no, it's an American card. Stanley Wright is on. Oh, okay. Um. All right, hold on. Let me check box rec. Stanley Wright. Okay, the Black Shogun. 14-0. Oh, heavyweight. Okay, let's see what 34, North Carolina. So what show is this that he's on? Oh, Turning Stone Resort and Casino. IBF USBA heavy. Who else is on this card? Oh, Aaron Aponte's on there. Okay, I remember him from his matchroom days. When okay, oh the Franchon Cruz. Okay, that card. All right. Okay, fine. Yeah, I still ain't gonna have time to watch. Like I said, too much. There's too much on this weekend. I gotta be selfish. I gotta be selfish. If I didn't do the league, I wouldn't be able to keep up with all these fights either. It's crazy sometimes. 100% champ. It's boxing overload. Sometimes it takes me days to watch them all. Yeah, and the thing is, because sometimes like you, as much as you want to watch them, when it's not live, you're almost less compelled to do so because you kind of know the result. Last week, I was actually fortunate that even though I didn't see a bunch of stuff, I was able to go back and watch the fights and certain things before I even saw what had happened. So it still felt kind of fresh. But once you kind of know the results, it's like, okay, I'll get back to it. But then other things come on. Like maybe you got a show on Netflix or Prime or maybe even Sky that you watch, and now that's on. Okay, so that's gonna take priority because the boxing's old. Or for, for me and others, football. Okay, now the football's on. Or you gotta go somewhere, and it's just like, where do you find the time? That's why I said these weekends, as much as I enjoy the boxing, I prefer when there's just one or two cards to look forward to on the weekend. One in the UK, one in the States. Maximum two in one of those locations, but if possible, to have it on maybe like the Friday, one on the Friday, and then two on the Saturday, and this, yeah, and then maybe even if you have one on the Sunday, I'll accept that. Four at max. Anything more than that is just I can't deal. I gotta sleep sometime. I don't sleep a lot, but I gotta sleep sometime. You need to get a clone. Yeah, I mean, look, when the money is moneying and I can afford it, I will definitely look to do some multiplicity. Apparently, Dillian White is no longer fighting on this weekend due to some better opportunity. If that's the case, then that means he's on the July card. Um, and I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being the Lawrence Okoli and Dillian White on the undercard to Usyk and Dubois. Uh, Only watching the Salita show, MVP show, and Pro Box this weekend. Only watching the Wardley main event. Oh, that's what I forgot about. Pro Box have got one on as well. That's like 7 cards. I don't have the time, and that's part of the reason why I'm not going to Ipswich because it's just that's going to hamper me on so many different watch-alongs and stuff like that. It's just it's long. It's all long. Make sure this is. I did turn it on, right? Yeah, cool. Those small venues are the best. Yeah, the Carib Royal. I like that venue. I like it. Oh, Carme in the building. I'm 6 minutes late, but salute to you. Thank you very much for being here. Um, I just seen that apparently, according to Frank Warren, big fight in August or September. Mm. Cruz designed the zone with weight on undercard. Yeah. Oh, right on the undercard. Yeah, yeah. Okay. What's your thoughts on Salita blocking Franklin and Miller from taking fights through their, though they're free agents? Um, I mean, look, the thing is, from the outside looking in, so but that from the outside looking in, it looks like it's scumbaggery. But I can only assume, right, that there was something in their previous contracts that they didn't adhere to. He wanted them to adhere to something, or he was supposed to get a certain amount of fights, and for whatever reason, that didn't happen. So now he's like, look, you ain't about to be taking none of these big money fights, and I can't get my cut. So I've got my first last on your contract, and or my matching rights ability, and as long as I've got that, you're not taking any of these big fights. You're gonna take a couple of crumb fights first, or you're gonna cut me in on this fight in order to be able to take the fight. That's what I think he's doing. It's a bit unscrupulous, but unfortunately, it's probably well within the law. Um, but morally, now I guess you know to never sign with Dimitri Salita. But he's got a couple of new investments, so. Oh, actually, while I got you guys here, speaking of Salita, and I know this guy isn't signed to Salita, but we was talking about obviously the heavyweights here. On the Golden Boy card last week, we got Joshua Edwards had his, I think it was his second fight in the pros, or was it his third? I mean, what do you guys think about Joshua Edwards in terms of the US heavyweight prospect coming up? Do you think they might have a real one with him? Shout out to Coach Christine. She's pretty high on him. She actually thinks that he's got a better or a bigger ceiling than Moses Atalma, which is, I mean, look, I'm not gonna say it's crazy because I haven't seen enough of him, but it might be USA bias on her part. But that's what she said to me. So let me know what you guys think about him. Oh yeah, Josh Kelly is Channel 5. I'll send you the card on WhatsApp. I appreciate it. Although I can't lie, I've got very little interest in that card, but I probably would just give the main event prediction just for just for that. But yeah, the Wasserman cards never really interest me. I think all the money he stole from those guys is the reason why he's able to pay Shields. But the thing is, I don't even know how much he pays her. She says that she gets all of this money, but I don't know if you put up that much money for her and you're not sure that she generates that. Every time I see her in the events, especially the ones like Detroit and or Michigan in general, they're not full, and they're not charging like $2,000-3,000 a ticket. So I don't know. I don't know how much she is getting paid. But maybe she is, and maybe you're right. Maybe he's swindling the money from them just to keep her on book. Who knows? Third, yeah, there's only so much boxing I can watch. 100%. Shout out to Karma. She says there comes a time in every boxing fan's life when boxing comes dead last. Yeah, you know what? I mean, I can't lie. I'm getting to that point where I'm going to start being extremely selective. We'll get an AI base. I don't know about that one. It does just the US mess up everything. Yeah, well, on the whole, like obviously we have exceptions like like the delightful Carme, who is actually, she's probably more British than she is American at this point. Her Maestro isn't like that. women, the women crushing it Wednesday ladies, they generally like to, there's a couple. Cat of course, shout out to Cat. Obviously IQ, even though technically I guess he's Dominican, so he don't really count as an American. But yeah, is Josh Kelly the most wasted British fighter? Um, yeah, the Mount has even won a British European title. Oh, has yeah, he's won the British. I think he may have won European as well. But in terms of, yeah, he was one of those guys spark when you started. But I won't say it's just garbage. But Flash, his candle burned bright, but it burned very quick as well. Ex fighters like Salita ripping off current fighters is truly low. Yeah, especially when like how difficult it's been as a fighter. But to be honest, it's funny you say that because remember, didn't it wasn't that like Diddy's mantra when he was in he was like, well, look, this is the kind of deals I was getting given when I was just starting out in the music industry, and this is what I was being told was right. So I'm gonna do the same thing to you guys so that you guys understand the music business from this perspective as well. It's not the you're supposed to learn those lessons and then make it easier for the next generation, not do the same to them, because then you never break the cycle. Louis Edmondson versus Daniel Lappin is going to be on the Usyk Dubois card for the WBA. Okay, so what's he doing with the British title then? So they finally started putting fights on that undercard for people to see. I can't lie though, Edmondson versus Lappin will not be a fun fight. I will not be on the stream when that fight is taking place. Yep, that's what I said, Phil. Keyshawn Davis fighting Saturday, Nakatani's fighting Sunday, same as Jael Patel. So there's just a lot going on. Can't believe people are still signing to him, boxers walking into bad deals, can't feel so. Well, yeah, but half of them don't know any better. And I bet there's a cash advance or something or maybe some of them is literally it's the only option they've got and they're desperate. No one else will come in for them. He offers them a little bit of bread up front, like Don King used to do. And then yeah, you just or maybe he's maybe got a decent little name in the territory they're from, and that's the only option that they feel that they got. But yeah, I hear it. Will you place Atalma in your top 10 heavyweights now? No. He hasn't done enough to be in the top 10. I don't know fully who my top 10 is. He's definitely got potential to be in there. He could be in the top 10 by the end of this year, to start of next year, but he's not there yet. He's still got more work to do. Yeah, Dodge. I've been hearing that the Lawrence fight I think there's a chance because you think about it, if his last fight was it November last year for Dillian, like, and he needed this fight really for the run up. I don't think he'd want to go any later than July. Obviously, don't forget the hand was one thing. He was going to fight Joe Joyce, but then the hand got mashed up. So I would definitely try to get on the under, and that's going to be the only pay-per-view card really, apart from like the Riyadh seats and stuff. So it would make sense to get on there, get a little money from there. Salita robs Peter to pay Paul in the Clarissa case, baby. Yeah, I mean, possibly. That snap, someone was beaten to it. There was no fights last weekend. Yeah, it's why you spread them out. Put a couple from last weekend, like spread the love. Hurt people. That's true. We've got to try and break that cycle, though, man. Not seeing him basal check. Oh, for Joshua Edwards. To be honest, he is neat. He's quite quick as well. But I'm assuming he's probably in that Leo Tang mode. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how he develops. But yeah, let me think. Last closing closing thoughts on this one. Okay, so I spoke about Plant and Charlo last week on the weekend wrap. I think that fight's still going to go ahead, to be honest. Um, I'm not necessarily behind with boxing news as such, but like, there's not a lot of it that's sticking in my mind at the minute to really want to talk about. So I think I might call this one quits very, very shortly. Um, let's see what else we've got here. What suddenly triggered the Cody to be vocal about why all these years he's been radio silent? Well, not to be fair, he was talking about he's been talking about Dillian White for about 4 or 5 years. But I won't lie to you, the last from maybe mid 2022 up to now, I think that fight is a lot more beneficial to Okoli than I would have prior. Prior to them, when Okoli was calling them out, I definitely thought Dillian would have battered him. I don't even think it would have been as competitive as Okoli probably thought it would. But now, I don't know. I think that's Okoli's fight to lose, basically. Um, Prediction for heavyweight. How do you mean boxing, pro? How likely do you see another 5v5 without funding it? Um, I think it could happen, but it's not gonna be. You're gonna get one like top star. Like the main event will be it, and then all the other four will be like bare undercard fighters, because they're gonna try to keep the cost down low on that. Badu Jack and Noel Gavor rematch has been ordered. Yep, that's true. Um, I don't really know why, to be honest, because I feel as if Badu Jack won the fight. Like, I'm not gonna say like, you know, convincingly, but I feel like he won it. Um, I know that you obviously think he didn't, to be fair, um, but I don't think it was necessarily wanted a rematch. But I think that's just the WBC doing favors for Don King. Obviously, he had a very big relationship with them, and I just feel like if you look at a lot of Don King fighters or fighters that he has promoted, even I'm talking about recently, a lot of them have been able to get away with like some madness when it comes to their either their fights or being able to keep a belt or to be positioned for something. I don't know. Um, did you hear Sinners 2 is in the works but without Ryan Coogler? Well, I mean, I hope not. The first one was enough. I know I heard someone talking about a Sinners universe at one point and trying to go off into different tangents and stuff, but it doesn't really need that, if I'm gonna be real. Right, I'm gonna let this go around one last time. I'm gonna sweep up the last set of comments, and then I'm gonna log off. I got some food downstairs I need to eat. So shout out to man like Ed Whitcomb, Josh Kelly fighting Flavius. But that's it, Flavius Bia. What did I say earlier? Like Badia, I think I said. Never heard of him. Nobody decent on his record. Yeah, I mean, I heard that This is like basically a keep busy fight until he has like another big fight coming. I think he's supposed to have another big fight coming like September, October, and this was like a run out fight before that happens. But yeah, I thought Michaelian won, but yeah, not a rematch worthy type thing. The death of Don King powers at play. And Philip says Warner Brothers. uh, Boxing pro heavyweight fight this weekend. Oh, okay, we say my prediction. Right. Well, you will find that out on Friday when the basis pick video comes out. Um, that will be one of the predictions. It will be on there. But yes. All right. So last one. Okay, because it seems that everyone wants to do the main event fights for the video. So in the chat, just put in there whether or not you want a live tomorrow going through like the undercard fights, and we will just sort of have a chat about those for the events. Um, I'll go for another 5 minutes, so you can put in the chat if that's what you want, and if so, then we'll do a live tomorrow. If not, then we'll just stick to the video. I'll take tomorrow afternoon off, and I'll make some other content as well. I'll probably do 2 or 3 sets, and then I'll put them out sporadically throughout the day. But yeah, let me know what you guys want. Looks like I might be doing a replay again. Oh, on a side note, since this is a casual stream and we can talk about things a little bit outside, I had a little bet on the women's nations league matches yesterday. Not all of them, but a few. Imagine my disappointment, right? All of the teams that I picked won, except for the Netherlands against Scotland. Bear in mind, this is a Scottish team that ain't won no matches in the last, I think, 2 or 3 years. Netherlands literally beat them every time they fought, every time they played each other, and this is the one time they decided to let them get a draw, and it was at the expense of my bet. Imagine. Prior to that draw, I mean, at the time it was about a 2k worth of a bet. At the time when that match was playing, I still had about 7 or 9 games to play up until the weekend, but I would have been sitting on about 80 quid from like a £5 bet at the time. But yeah, that draw just ruined everything, and that further goes to show, even in the women's game, you can't trust the Dutch, because the men's Dutch team let me down all the time, and in the times when they're supposed to get mash up is the times when they manage to do a madness. So I stopped betting on them. But I thought the women's Netherlands team, I know that generally speaking they're supposed to be top of tops, and they're quite. Nope, they decided to stick to the script. Okay, so Fight Fan says live tomorrow, please. Okay, it looks like we're going live tomorrow, unless other people object. And to be honest, the lives for me, even though sometimes like actually scheduling them is the difficult part with what I've whatever's happening outside of the house or my other commitments, I prefer the lives because yeah, I can just do the live and then I can go and it's just there. Whereas when it's the videos, obviously I've got to do the editing, I've got to make sure that my phone's charged, and then I've got to do the editing through the phone. And then if I'm trying to do multiple videos, all of a sudden now, like, I've got to be conscious about how much time I'm on the phone, as opposed to if people need to get a hold of me. It's a madness. Oh, shout out to man like Boston Move in the place. £5 super chat. So here's your money back. I appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, live tomorrow. Okay, cool. We're gonna fine. Much prefer the lives. All right. Okay, fine. So we're gonna. I'm going to set it up for, let's say, about 8 o'clock. Is 8 o'clock all right? Or should we do 7:30 again? Because I know there's the Nations League on tomorrow. Spain and France is at 8. So should I do like 7:30, or should I try and get even maybe 7, so that people can watch Spain versus France, or at least like watch most of the first half? 7:30. Should we aim for that? Let me know what time is best for you guys. Or put it in the comments of the video, and I will pick it up. Or I'll do a community tab. It's fine. But look, thank you guys very much for tuning in. I'm gonna definitely get that off tomorrow, and then we're gonna do a bunch of other stuff moving forward. Don't forget about 2 or 3 watch alongs this weekend. So like, rock with me. But appreciate you. For right now, Cycle Casual out.
Maybe I'ma make it, maybe I'm not. In time we'll see. But who better than me? I don't care if you agree. I ain't saying that I'm better than anyone. But who better than me?